My wife cheated and then tried to justify it by proposing an open marriage, saying it would heal us and make things exciting again. Instead, I quietly filed for divorce, gathered the evidence, and exposed her affair to everyone who once respected her. She thought she was in control until my revenge destroyed her reputation, her lover, and her illusions of power. Chapter 1. Let's be adults about this. There are a few phrases you never forget, no matter how many years pass. I love you. We're pregnant. And apparently, I slept with someone, but I think an open marriage could heal us. Mara said it with the detached calm of someone pitching a new productivity tool to her team. We were at our dining table, oak, heavy, something we'd picked out together back when together meant honest intimacy, not legal co-ownership. The candle between us sputtered, and for a moment I thought I'd imagined it. My brain refused to translate the sentence into meaning. I stared at her hands while she spoke. Perfectly manicured, neutral polish, no tremble. She'd rehearsed this. I didn't want to hurt you, she continued, but we've been stagnant. You know it. We've been roommates, not lovers. This could make things fair. We can both explore. We can redefine what this is. Redefine, I said, voice even, almost curious. Before or after you slept with him? Her eyes flickered, 1 microsecond of panic, before sliding back into performance mode. I made a mistake, she said, lowering her voice. But it opened my eyes to what I need, what we need. Honesty, freedom, a framework where neither of us has to lie. You've been lying for 8 months, I replied, still calm. How much more freedom do you need? She blinked. How did you... I didn't answer. Not yet. I wasn't ready to tell her about the Lyft receipts in our shared email, or the cached photo in her phone's hidden album she forgot to delete, or the company offsite in Denver that wasn't in Denver at all. I watched her study me, trying to measure how much I knew, trying to regain her footing, trying, as always, to control the story. Mara, I said softly. What's his name? She looked at the candle instead of me. That's not important. It's critical, I corrected. Because whatever this conversation is supposed to be, therapy cosplay, marital innovation, this isn't honesty. This is you trying to turn betrayal into policy. She exhaled sharply, the mask cracking. Fine. It's Aaron. But that's not the point. I'm trying to save our marriage. No, I said. You're trying to keep your access. Her eyes narrowed. Access to what? My stability, my silence, my reputation, the one that buys you credibility with your friends, your board, your family, the man you can present as proof you're not what you are. She flinched. There it was, the wordless truth neither of us had spoken. She didn't want me. She wanted what I enabled. I stood, collected our plates, and carried them to the sink. The motion steadied me. I realized then I wasn't shaking. I wasn't shouting. I wasn't even heartbroken. Something in me had cooled, hardened, focused. I dried my hands, turned, and leaned against the counter. Okay, I said. Let's do it your way. She blinked. What? Openness, honesty, adult choices. I'll think about your proposal. I even smiled. But if we're opening things, we start clean. Total transparency. Phones on the table, passwords, calendars, health panels. Every detail. She laughed once. Too loud, too quick. That's ridiculous. That's not what openness is. It's trust. You forfeited trust when you outsourced intimacy and tried to sell it as innovation. My voice was still level, and that scared her more than rage would have. But sure, give me the weekend. I'll consider your model. She relaxed, a fraction. I knew you'd understand. You're not like other men. You're rational. I nodded, walked past her, and kissed her forehead. Absolutely. Rational to the bone. Her shoulders loosened. She poured herself more wine, texted someone, probably him, and turned on that playlist she always used when she needed to feel in control. I went to my office, closed the door, sat down, and without shaking, without anger, without second thoughts, I opened a new email. Subject, retainer request, divorce and discovery strategy. I typed my lawyer's name, attached the first batch of evidence. Then I wrote 10 words I never thought I'd write. Proceed quietly. Assume she thinks I'm considering an open marriage. I hit send. Then I leaned back, closed my eyes, and saw the road ahead crystal clear. Discovery, subpoenaed messages, hotel invoices, internal Slack logs, and corporate cards. Exposure, not to random spectators, but to the exact people whose respect she weaponized. Her board, her mentor, her parents who believed she was a paragon of ethics. Exit, swift, surgical, unarguable. The kind of divorce filing that reads like a neatly documented obituary of entitlement. I opened a folder on my desktop and created 3 subfolders: Affair, Evidence Financial, Protection Narrative, Final. My hands were steady as I dragged screenshots, statements, and quietly recorded accounts into the first one. As I moved our shared savings into a protected trust, legally, meticulously, into the second. And as I drafted the first outline of the letter that would go to the people who once admired her, into the third. In the living room, 2 walls away, I heard her laugh. The same laugh she gave him on whispered calls and weekend strategy trips. She thought she was winning. She thought she'd reframed the rules. She thought I'd fold, heal, and play the enlightened, evolved husband, grateful for crumbs. But I wasn't a man she could manage. I was the one calmly building the guillotine. Chapter 2. Laying the Trap. The next morning, Mara hummed in the kitchen while making omelets, as if the night before had gone perfectly. As if we'd reached some kind of enlightened marital agreement. As if this was now our new beginning. She kissed my cheek. You'll think about it today, right? I nodded slowly. Yeah, I'll think about it. She smiled and returned to scrambling eggs, her phone lighting up with notifications she didn't try to hide, because now in her head, she had permission. What she didn't know was that every time her screen lit up, I took mental snapshots. Every ping, every lock screen preview, every contact name, especially Aaron, the man she once claimed was just another colleague. While she was in the shower, I emailed the divorce attorney again. Subject, updates on timeline. Hi Martin, she's moved into open marriage mode. Evidence gathering is now easier than ever. Can we move up the financial separation and begin drafting notice of intent? A Martin responded within minutes. Understood. Quiet proceedings initiated. Keep playing along. Final package in 10 to 12 days. We'll hit her with everything at once. That same week, I started meeting with people from her circle. People who once looked at Mara like she walked on water. I had lunch with Dr. Ayana Patel, her mentor from grad school and one of her biggest supporters. Over coffee, I pulled out my phone and simply said, I'm about to file for divorce. I want you to hear it from me first. I also thought you deserved to see the truth. I showed her a few messages. Mara, he's so predictable. He'll come around eventually, and in the meantime, I get what I need. Aaron, you're a goddess. He should thank me for keeping you satisfied. Ayana stared at the screen. Her face hardened. This is vile, she whispered. She told me it would heal us, I said flatly. Ayana shook her head. I vouched for her, wrote her board recommendation. If this leaks... Oh, I replied, it's going to. One by one, I reached out. Her co-founders, who had no idea she was spending company funds on conference hotels with a man from their competitor firm. Her parents, who always thought I was the one lucky to have her. Her HR rep, who legally had to act once presented with company misuse evidence, especially since she and Aaron were violating disclosure clauses. The evidence folder kept growing. Chat exports, expense reports, screen-recorded video of late-night webcam sessions she thought were private. She thought this was her renaissance. She didn't know it was the beginning of her reputation's funeral. On the 8th day, she walked into the bedroom holding up her phone. Guess who invited me to Bali? She said playfully. I looked up from my laptop. "Aaron," I asked. She paused. "You're okay with that, right? It's not about love, it's freedom. You can do the same, you know." I smiled. "Actually, I might." She blinked. "Oh, you're seeing someone." "In a way," I replied. "But I think I'll wait until things are finalized." She tilted her head. "Finalized?" I closed my laptop gently and walked past her, brushing her shoulder as I said, "You'll see." She laughed nervously. "You're not mad at me, are you?" I turned just before leaving the room. "No," I said. "I'm just watching the show you wrote." And then I closed the door. Chapter 3. The Collapse. The divorce papers arrived on a Thursday, delivered by a private process server directly to Mara's office, right in the middle of her team's weekly stand-up meeting. I timed it to the minute, 9:47 a.m., just as she would be leading her vision strategy briefing. Her assistant, confused and flustered, stepped in and tapped her shoulder. "I'm sorry to interrupt, but, this man needs a signature." She excused herself, smiling politely, expecting some document from a vendor. Instead, she was handed a thick envelope, sealed and discreetly marked. "Dissolution of marriage, immediate filing notice enclosed." She signed automatically, then flipped it open. I didn't see her face, but AITA did, and she described it to me later over lunch. It was like watching a tower crumble in slow motion. At first she tried to keep smiling, then the color drained from her face. By the time she got to the evidence appendix, she just walked out. That same morning, I executed the next part of the plan. A personalized email went out to select individuals. Her parents, the board of directors of her startup, her closest friends, the ones who once laughed at her stories of my boring loyalty, and Aaron's wife, who had no idea what had been going on. Each email contained a simple subject line: "In the interest of full transparency," and inside, carefully curated evidence, screenshots of her most damning texts, a list of company-funded hotel stays, a calendar comparison of when she lied to the board about client retreats, and a quiet note: "I believed you all deserve to know who she really is. No anger, no slander, just truth, weaponized by timing and silence." The effect? Immediate. Her phone started blowing up around noon. I watched it ring non-stop on our shared iCloud feed. First her dad, then her co-founder, then Aaron's wife, 3 times. By 2 p.m., her LinkedIn was deactivated. By 4 p.m., her startup's legal counsel issued a statement confirming a pending investigation into financial impropriety and personal conduct violations. By 6 p.m., Aaron's wife filed for emergency separation. And by 7:30 p.m., Mara was on our doorstep, not knocking, just standing there, eyes bloodshot, makeup smudged, face trembling, not from rage, but disorientation, like she couldn't believe the world no longer bent for her. I opened the door and said nothing. She tried to speak. I didn't let her. "You said you wanted excitement," I said calmly. "How's this for a plot twist?" "Please," she whispered. "You don't understand how fast this is spiraling." I nodded slowly. "That's the thing with control, Mara. You don't realize you lost it until someone else pulls the last string." She sank onto the porch. "They're calling me a fraud, a manipulator. Even my dad won't pick up." "Because you are," I said simply. "You lied, you schemed, and now you're reaping what you sowed." She looked up at me. "You said you were thinking about the open marriage." "I was," I said, "but instead of opening my marriage, I opened your secrets." Her shoulders shook. "I thought you loved me." "I did," I said, "but now I love my peace more." I stepped back inside and closed the door. The next morning, her belongings were on the curb, neatly boxed, carefully labeled, just like our evidence folders. And on top of the last box, a single note that read, "This is what healing looks like. Enjoy your freedom." Chapter 4. Aftershock and Ascension. 3 days later, Mara resigned from her position at the startup. The internal board investigation didn't need much time. Between the company card charges used for romantic getaways and the Slack messages referencing off-the-record meetings with Aaron, her downfall wasn't just personal, it was corporate. Reputations matter in startups, especially ones dependent on venture capital, and founders who lie, they become liabilities. Her public statement was a carefully worded mess, blaming unforeseen mental health struggles, confusion around boundaries, and a misunderstanding of personal autonomy. It fooled no one. Her LinkedIn remained dormant, her Instagram went private, and the whispers began circulating in every leadership circle she once thrived in. She was caught. There's screenshots. Her husband played it brilliantly. Meanwhile, I never said a word in public. Not a tweet, not a story post, nothing. Silence became my brand, and silence became louder than anything she screamed into the void. Her friends, the ones who used to eye roll whenever I was around, started unfollowing her. Some even reached out to me privately. Can't believe what she did. You didn't deserve any of that. If you ever want to talk, I declined politely. I wasn't interested in pity or revenge flings. I was interested in peace. I threw myself into work, doubled my client load, took back every hour I spent trying to fix what she broke. I went to the gym more, read more, traveled alone, and loved it. I bought a new apartment, no ghosts, no reminders. And on the wall near my desk, I mounted a framed copy of the original email I sent to my lawyer, the one with the subject line, "Proceed quietly." Every time I passed it, I smiled. One night, about 6 weeks after the final court date, I got a knock at the new apartment. It was Aaron, disheveled, desperate, sweating like a man whose whole identity had been turned inside out. "I need to talk to you," he said. I crossed my arms. "You shouldn't be here. I just need to say it, man. I didn't think it'd go this far." "Didn't think what would go this far?" I asked, tilting my head. "That sleeping with another man's wife might have consequences?" "She told me you didn't care. That you were distant, boring. She said it was practically over anyway." "She says a lot of things," I said. "That's why I kept receipts." He rubbed his face, shaking. "My wife left me. My firm suspended me pending review. Her parents won't take her calls, and she blames me." I looked at him, really looked, and then said, "Good." I shut the door, hard. Mara sent an email 2 weeks later. Subject, closure. I know I don't have the right to ask for anything, but if there's any part of you that still believes in what we had, can we meet for coffee? One last time? Just to talk. I didn't reply. I forwarded it to my lawyer, then archived it. Because the truth is, closure isn't something they give you. It's what you build yourself. Epilogue. The price of games. Mara wanted to heal through open betrayal. She wanted to rewrite loyalty as weakness. She wanted to frame me as outdated and controlling, when all I ever gave her was structure, love, and honesty. She thought she was playing chess, but I wasn't playing games at all. I was planning an exit, not just from her, but from every lie, every manipulation, every illusion that I had to accept less in the name of love, and in doing so, I reclaimed my dignity, my life, and my peace. Was this revenge perfectly justified? Tell us what you would have done in the comments below.
To one of your first auditions to go on, TV.
Oh, yeah.
I want to know before that, like, was TV, being in media, was that always something you aspired to do?
I always kind of, being in media, TV was essentially the medium, but I knew from when I was my son's age, we've got 2 kids, my youngest is 5, I knew from at least when I was his age that I just really enjoyed connecting with people through performance. Okay?
Cool.
So
was there something like you did at a young age that made you realise that?
I was 5 years old, standing on top of a coffee table like this, staring at the television in Brisbane. We didn't have as many channels as you guys in the south, and all day long. There was this hit show that ran on every network. It was called The Test Pattern, and they just ran classical music under it. And I'm on the coffee table conducting the orchestra I can hear coming out of the television.